Okay, I want to talk about something with the whole Renee Nicole Good situation that I haven't seen anybody talk about yet. And that's if MAGA ever asks the question, what if she did hit the officer? Well, if that's the case, then both of them are in the wrong. The officer for, well, putting himself in the position and firing the shots, and Renee Nicole Good for, well, hitting and injuring an officer. Let's start with Renee's side of the story, if she were still alive. 18 U.S. Code, Section 111. Feel free to pause and read. Well, there are 3 different types of assaults. Which, by the way, if you're wondering where all my sources are, they'll be down here. Let's start with Class 8, which means simple federal assault, punishable by up to 1 year in jail and fines up to $100,000. Now for serious assault with no deadly weapon, that is Class B. Serious assault without a weapon is a felony, punishable by up to 8 years in prison and fines up to $250,000. And this only counts if you make physical contact with the officer and you did so with the intent to commit another felony. But then there's Class C, and that is serious assault with a deadly weapon. Look at this. Up to 20 years in prison, fines up to $250,000. When you make physical contact with the officer and do so with a deadly weapon or cause serious bodily injury to the officer in the process. Editing me here. By the way, a car can only be used as a deadly weapon in very certain cases. Which again, I'll have a source down here. Feel free to pause and read. But back to the video. Yeah, he walked away perfectly fine into his own vehicle. And there's no record of him being in the hospital this year. I know it's only been 12 days, but still. So this is either a Class B or a Class C assault. Whereas Class A assault is, well, just a misdemeanor. So all that would happen to Renee is that she'll end up in 8 to 20 years of prison, and along with hefty $250,000 fines. And that's basically it. But of course, she can't be charged with anything because, well, she's dead. Now on to the ICE agent himself, and how he's in the wrong. My source? The Department of Homeland Security itself. And this is based on their update to the department policy on the use of force in 2023. First, disabling fire. This is under Section 5. It's on page 7 if you're interested. Once again, I'll link all the sources in the description. May discharge firearms to disable moving vehicles, vessels, and other conveyances, as such disabling fire is classified as less lethal force except aircraft in flight. Now, if you're wondering what less lethal force is, here it is right here. This is under page 6. I now want to show you this part on page 3, general principles. Use of safe tactics. Department of Homeland Security law enforcement officers, which ICE does fall under. Don't believe me, this is under the Department of Homeland Security's website itself. Should seek to employ tactics and techniques that effectively bring an incident under control while promoting the safety of law enforcement officers and the public, and that minimize the risk of unintended injury or serious property damage. Department of Homeland Security law enforcement officers should also avoid intentionally and unreasonably placing themselves in position in which they have no alternative to using deadly force. This ultimately proves that Kristi Noem has no idea how to be Secretary of Homeland Security, and it just puts Jonathan Ross further in the wrong since he intentionally put himself in danger. Which he didn't, but of course, MAGA is gonna twist what I say anyway, so who cares? So there you go. How are you getting an answer now, MAGA? My name is Amir Asaf, Republican with the Free Press Action Network and to the American United Organization. Be sure you follow on my socials, otherwise you'll see my face again. Have a good day.